August in the state of Texas means one thing. High school football two-a-days are underway. The football is flying in the air, football drills are in full swing, and all that conditioning that took place during the spring and summer is now paying off for the football players as they practice in this heat. Hello everybody, Carlos Robledo here along with Mike Gonzalez, and if there is a football practice going on, then the K-West crew is there. It's going to be a little bit different for the Weslaco Panthers and for the Weslaco East Wildcats because they are moving from the 32 6A district to the 31 6A district. And Mike, take us through the changes.
That's right, Carlos. So both Weslaco schools are making the jump from 32 6A to 31 6A with the Edinburgh schools, Edinburgh Vela, Edinburgh Economides, Edinburgh High, and Edinburgh North. And also joining 31 6A is Donna North. So we have a 17 district now. So I expect the competition to be pretty intense, Carlos. Unlike the 31 6A where it was the meat grinder, I still expect a pretty competitive 31 6A.
Yeah, Mike, this division is not going to be a cakewalk, but it won't be the meat grinder that the Panthers and the Wildcats had to go through in the 32 6A because Harlingen, Los Fresnos, and San Benito were consistently one of the top teams in the Rio Grande Valley.
Exactly, Carlos. And we're talking about San Benito team that went to the third round of the playoffs, Los Fresnos, a Valley Power, and then you got the Harlingen, that's probably that has the most tradition from all the Valley schools. Now we're jumping into 31 6A, where schools like Edinburgh Vela, a team that went 12-1 last year, and then you have Edinburgh High, another Valley Power, Edinburgh North that has some tradition. Donna North, it's going to be new for them in 6A, so it's going to be a pretty balanced district, I think, Carlos. I expect it to be pretty competitive.
Okay, Mike, we'll talk more about the district a little bit later, but right now tell us what's going on over there at Weslaco East.
All right, Carlos, so the first thing that happens in a new realignment is a new schedule, and the Wildcats once again have a pretty challenging schedule this year. They start off on September 1st. Keep that in mind. It's on a Saturday against Manar Mustangs out of the Austin area. That's going to take place in San Antonio's Alamo Stadium at 1 o'clock. That's a playoff team from last year. Now they're going to play in 5A this year. And then the second game will be at home against Laredo Alexander. If you recall, that's an area round game from last year. The very competitive game. The Wildcats came out victorious and advanced to the third round. Then it's Brownsville-Hanna. Those that recall, Brownsville-Hanna was a surprise team in 32 6A last year, made the playoffs. That's going to be a home game. And then the final non-district game is against the Harlingen Cardinals. Big win last year by the Wildcats over the Cardinals at Boga Stadium. That's going to be a rematch from last year. And then they open district against Donna North. And that should be a pretty competitive game there. Then you're going to have Edinburgh High, a playoff team last year, Edinburgh North, playoff team last year, and then Edinburgh Economides, who the Wildcats defeated 56-14 last year. Then the last two games, Carlos, that I have circled in my calendar is Tinaco Bowl number 7 against the Weslaco Panthers on November 2nd. The series is tied at 3-3. Who's going to take over the series? That remains to be seen. Then the finale, in which may be for the district championship, November 9th against Edinburgh Vela in Edinburgh. Rematch of the 2016 bi-district game. Heavy underdog Wildcats came out victorious that night. All right, let's take a look at the offense now. This is a unit that averaged 400 yards in 2017. Are going to have 6 starters back. Offensive line is supposed to be a strength this year. And leading off is Mario Trevino, who was named the lineman of the year in 32 6A last year. Stands at 6 foot 260 as a junior. Then on the left side, it's going to be Steely Munoz, playing left tackle, who stands at 6'1", 260. Orlando Cabrera is going to make the transition from guard to tackle. And who's going to be in the backfield? Well, Josh Gonzalez. If you recall Bobby Gonzalez from back in the day, Josh Gonzalez has just as much potential as he does, is going to be in the backfield. He rushed for 269 yards last year, and blocking for him is going to be fullbacks Randy Cardoza and Jacob Carrasco. And at quarterback, who's going to take over? Richard Lefevre, 3-year starter. Well, right now, Coach Burgett has Antonio Cedeno at 6 foot senior, who's going to run the offense, who has a lot of potential, who can scramble, who can throw, and can even catch. All right, joining me now is head coach Mike Burgett. Coach, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm excited. Day one. It's what we wait for all summer. From the last game that we played against Cibolo Steel in the third round, we waited for this day.
Coach, this is your 6th season as a head coach of the Weslaco East Wildcats, 13 overall. You guys went to the third round last year, 5th time in 8 years, only Rio Grande Valley team to ever do that. How are you guys dealing with the pressure of coming into the season and there are high expectations?
I don't think it's pressure. I'll tell you guys this right now. It's high school football. It's what these guys come out and put into the game. And you know, I've said this for many years. If you look at the back of their shirt, that is our philosophy at Weslaco East. It's not to win football games. Winning football games will come and go, as you guys all know. But we ask our kids to have fun and out-hit their opponent. That's all we ask them at Weslaco East. Most important is we want these guys to get a great education. Not only good education, we want them to have the chance to play at the next level, and I'm sort of excited about that because we had our first Division I kid at Weslaco East sign last year in Richard Lefevre, and we're excited for him, and we think JC's going to walk on. I think Roy, after a year of rehabbing that knee, he might even play up in Kingsville, so we'll see how it goes.
Speaking of the big three, Coach, they're off on their own now, but now you got to replace those big three. You've had a whole off season to think about it. What do you have for us?
Those three guys, and I'm going to talk about JC and Roy first. 4 years those guys have started. As freshmen, they started. Rich came in, started as a sophomore, half the year. I don't know how you replace guys like that, but you know what? We got a bunch of good kids out here working hard. They worked hard all summer. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to ask nobody to be a Lefevre, a Pedraza, a JC Vargas. I'm going to ask them to be themselves and give us everything they got.
Coach, you had a chance to talk to your team before you all came out to the field. What did you tell them?
Well, I've been here now, like you said, quite a few years. You know, I've always seen the changes in WISD. And I told them, you know, we can't control changes. We can't control everything that happens. But what we can control is when we come out here for practice, when we go to scrimmages, when we go to games, have fun, play together as a group, and most important, help these seniors. This is their senior year. We always say that. I told the seniors it's their year. Freddie Cardenas, Bonda, Robert Torres, all those guys, Robert Vetta, all those guys that come back and has played for us for 4 years, we want them to leave successful. That doesn't mean W's and L's. If we go 0-10 and we hit our goals, will I be happy? Probably not. But I got to tell you, I just want the kids to enjoy their high school years. And, you know, the older I get, I think I realize that more and more every year. Life gets shorter. High school career gets shorter. They're fixing to go out into the real world, be their own parents, some of them have to realize that it's not fun out there when you have to pay your own bills. So there's a lot we're trying to teach our kids here at Weslaco East.
Yeah, Coach, this is first of many practices we're going to have throughout the season. We hope it carries into December, but this is the first day. What would you like to see from your team and the staff on this first day?
To go out there and bond, have fun, get ready to play East football. East football, it's come a long ways in a few years. And you know, we're known probably in South Texas. Cibolo still knows us after last year. I know we lost the game by 15, but, man, we hit them. I was so proud after that game. We come back and we played great. I wish we would have started the game off like that, but, you know, we can't take anything that happened in the past. I want these guys to come. I want them to bond. I want them to have fun. And most important, I want them to out-hit. Out-hit. That's all I want.
And speaking of out-hitting your opponents, Coach, your defense, you're bringing, 7 back this year? Last year you had 9. This year 7. So it looks like you guys aren't going to miss too much of a beat, correct?
We're missing 2 big defensive ends, but we got some young kids stepping up. Our 2 defensive tackles are some of the best tackles I've seen since I've been coaching. Our middle linebackers, both of them are back. 2 outside linebackers, two safeties that are coming back. I mean, we got a couple outside linebackers that played quite a bit. We got a kid back from injury, Joel Longoria, one of the hardest hitting kids that I've coached. So, yeah, we got a defense, and Coach Guzman's excited. Our defensive coaches are excited. I told them, you know, if they shut everybody out this year, we'll probably be undefeated.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this season. And, again, we hope to see you guys past Thanksgiving and into December.
I want to thank K-West. I want to thank all the administration that is here at WISD for giving us the opportunity to do what we do every day. I want to wish the Panthers, Mike Salinas, great luck. He's got a bunch of good kids. He's got some great coaches over there. He brought a great coaching staff in. I want to wish them luck. And most important, I want to tell the Weslaco East fans, come watch us. We're going to be exciting this year. Thank you.
All right, Coach Burgett, thank you very much. Now, let's take a look at the defense where 7 starters are coming back, and it all starts with Freddie Cardenas, linebacker, 174 tackles last year, outstanding season, state power lifter, 2nd overall by the team. according to Coach Burgett, is the best linebacker that he's coached at Weslaco East. And then you have your defensive tackles. Jacob Banda, 84 tackles, 9 sacks, stands at 6 foot 250, 3-year starter, along with Robert Torres. Both of those guys are going to clog the middle. Then you have linebacker and corner Dimas Alvarez, versatile on the unit, playing multiple positions, 6'1", 170 pounds, very quick. And then don't forget Ramsey Vasquez. He's a two-way player, had 6 interceptions last year as a free safety, and is also a threat on the offense who's going to be like the J.C. Vargas. And that's a look at the defense.
Okay, Mike, you talked a little bit about this with Coach Mike Burgett, the big three. What is going on with them now, and what does the future look like for them?
That's right, Carlos. Richard Lefevre signed a letter of intent to Incarnate Ward up there in San Antonio, where he's going to play quarterback. Roy Pedraza tore his ACL last year, but his plan is to walk on, hopefully in the spring, and be ready for fall of 2019 at Texas A&M Kingsville. His teammate, J.C. Vargas, may also be his teammate at Texas A&M Kingsville, who may walk on this fall, Carlos. And, we wish all three of them the best of luck.
All right, Mike, and thanks a lot for that coverage over at Weslaco East. And this is just the beginning of our coverage of what's going on here at Weslaco ISD for the Wildcats and the Panthers. On Friday, we'll be live at Weslaco East for more coverage on their two-a-days. And on Saturday, we'll be with the Weslaco Panthers and their purple-white scrimmage. All right, let's take a look at the Weslaco Panthers and their schedule for this year, because it's going to be a little bit different for the Weslaco Panthers. That's right, they're in that 31-6A district. But the big headline here is there will be no Donna High School. That's right, no Redskin-Panther rivalry game will be going on, and no Mercedes this year also after playing that game last year. And also one of the big headlines, 4 Thursday night games. In fact, the first 3 games of the season, the Panthers are playing on Thursday night. That'll make for a short work week in preparation for these games. They'll open up at McAllen Row. The Warriors, a playoff team from a year ago, at home against Ed Cal Chelsea, a 5A school. And then we also have at PSJA North. Those are all going to be Thursday night games. Then they'll play at home against Harlingen South, a former 32-6A opponent, and then they'll start district. That'll be a Thursday night game. That'll be at Economides. Then they'll be open, and which is not a bad idea because they'll be open right before they have to play against probably the favorite in 31-6A, Robert Vela. Yeah, the Vela Sabercats went 3 deep last year. They're returning 6 starters on offense and 6 on defense. Then they'll be back at home against Donna North, at home against Edinburgh High, and then that game against Weslaco East, they're going to be the away team, the Nakobo, so they'll be away. And then the final game of the regular season will take place at home. This can be a pretty big game because Edinburgh North was a playoff team from a year ago, and this game, which will be the final game of the regular season, could have playoff implications. All right, that's a look at the Panthers and their schedule, what it looks like for them. They will have some scrimmages, like we talked about. There will be a purple-white scrimmage that will take place this coming Saturday right here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. We'll have coverage of that on K-West. And then they will have 2 scrimmages against 2 opponents. That'll be at PSJA. That'll be taking place the following week, and then there will be a home scrimmage against Brownsville Memorial, which should be a pretty good test for the Weslaco Panthers before they start their season, their regular season after that. All right, so what's going on with the Weslaco Panthers? Let's take a look at them. First of all, offensively, the Panthers have 6 returners on offense. Quarterback Jacob Cavazos will be a junior, and he went out last year with a collarbone injury, but the way he's been passing the ball, so far in practice, it looks like his collarbone is healed. He went through baseball with the varsity last year and had a good off season in the weight room and the summer conditioning program, so he looks good and ready to go. Okay, here we are with Coach Michael Salinas, first day of practice, Coach, 2-a-days taking place. What do you want to accomplish on your very first day?
Today it's just about getting out here, excited about getting back on the grass, making sure their attitude and effort is where it needs to be, and then allow these guys to start the process of coming together in fall camp.
Now, tell me a little bit about, what are your expectations for this year? You've had them now for a full year and a little bit longer than that. What are your expectations for this year for the team?
To get better. Our guys know that. We talked about the aggregation of marginal gains, and that's getting 1% better every day in every aspect of our life. So we talked to them about being purpose-driven, coming out here today with a purpose to get better, with a purpose to be a little more disciplined, and again, to push themselves harder than they have before, so in turn we can put a better product on the field this year.
I know that you have several players coming back at the skilled positions. One of those is Jacob Cavazos at quarterback. How is he looking this year?
Well, we've had about 45 minutes of work, so as of right now,
those guys did everything in preparation for where they need to be. Now it's just coming out here and really emphasizing, focusing, and executing on the task at hand.
Did you have an opportunity to work with him during the off season at all? I know he was hitting the weights, and I know he was also involved in all your off season workouts.
We're fortunate to push these guys to be multiple athletes, so a lot of them were in baseball. Didn't have a lot of the time to work some football stuff, but as far as the strength and conditioning, they did what they needed to do to get themselves in a position to compete and battle for a spot. So we're really proud of a lot of our guys.
I know you were disappointed because you didn't make the playoffs last year. And so what are you telling the team this year? What is the message you have to them about, having success this year?
To control what we can control. Obviously, our goal is to make the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, the goal is to play in December. And if you can do those two things, you've sort of taken care of everything else. So we're going to ask them to focus on going 1-0 every day, having a 1-0 mentality. From drill work to group sessions to team, and then hopefully take that over to Friday nights.
All right, we'll check with you later on this week. We'll let you go for right now, Coach. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, let's take a look on the defensive side of the ball for the Weslaco Panthers. And at linebacker, this will be somebody to look out for. Marco Noriega, he's got a great nose for the ball. He has the speed and the quickness to get there. He is being compared to Jordan Nichols, who graduated from Weslaco a couple of years ago. And the Panthers have 6 returners on defense along with Noriega. Among them are Roy Trevino at linebacker, Seth Sanchez at defensive end. Also look out for Benito Juarez at defensive end and Jesse Ramos also at the defensive end. All right, I do want to mention a couple of other players on the offensive side of the ball for the Panthers because they have a lot of skilled players that are back for the team on the offensive side of the ball. I'm mentioning Devin Dena, who will be a wide receiver for the Panthers. He was on varsity last year. Also, junior Jaden Cavazos, he will be at the slot position. Look for him to be playing and getting his hands on the football a lot. And also look out for Peyton Kanab at the running back position. He is someone who had some explosive games last year. He is coming back for his junior year, so look for him at the running back position. Those are some of the players to look out for. The big question for the Weslaco Panthers this year, it looks like, might be at the offensive line. That's where there will be some question marks, but they have 2 offensive linemen that are returning from last year. Frederick Salazar, he will be playing center, and then also look out for big Cody Rodriguez, who will be on the offensive side of the ball as well. He will be on the offensive line. All right, well, that is what is going on here at Weslaco, but there was some news that took place before the season even started during the summer. You may have heard because this was in the news, but there were 2 transfers that were trying to move from one school to another, and that they were trying to get to Edinburgh Villa. A player from Sharyland Pioneer, who was the quarterback, was attempting to transfer over to Edinburgh Villa, and then another player who was a quarterback for Edinburgh North, he was also attempting or trying to fill out the paperwork and that is necessary to also transfer to Villa, but the district executive committee decided that they were not trying to transfer for academic purposes. They deemed that they were trying to transfer for athletic purposes, so the district executive committee denied those 2 transfers. Edinburgh Villa, already a team that is stacked. They went 3 deep into the playoffs last year. If they would have had those 2 transfers, that would have been a team that just would have been stacked even more. Now, Villa still has the possibility that they will get those 2 transfers because they're going to appeal that decision by the district executive committee to the state executive committee and see what they say. All right, well, that is our coverage for today. Thank you very much for joining us here. Thank you, Mike Gonzalez, for all your coverage from Weslaco East. For everybody on the K-West crew, look out for more coverage of the Wildcats and the Panthers right here on K-West. Good night, everybody.